Wonky? Why are you so mean to them? Really?
There are days when I walk into the park and honestly have no idea if I'm going to see Wonky again. He can disappear for months. And then one day, he'll suddenly show up and run straight toward me, like he was never gone. Wonky is a wild goose, but whenever he sees me, he acts like I'm an old friend he's known forever. And the most special part is, I've never made him stay. He always chooses to come back. Ow! If you've ever seen Wonky, you'd recognize him immediately. He's the loudest goose in the entire park. He runs around, flies after the other geese, chases them, and creates a little bit of chaos wherever he goes. Then, after all that trouble, he'll come running back and stand right next to me like he knows I'll always have his back.
Hello. Hi, Wonky.
But when I first met Wonky, he was completely different. About 3.5 years ago, I noticed a Canada goose sitting in the water who looked incredibly weak and miserable. His neck was badly bent, and he didn't seem strong enough to compete with the other geese.
Wonky. Wonky. What's going on?
At the time, London was going through a serious outbreak of avian influenza, and hundreds of birds had died. I contacted a local bird rescue, and they explained that Wonky was probably one of the survivors. His bent neck was likely one of the lasting effects of the illness. They were also worried that the other geese might be bullying him. So I started keeping an eye on him. I fed him and made sure he had enough time and space to eat and regain his strength. In the beginning, Wonky was incredibly shy. He kept his distance and didn't seem particularly interested in me. But I kept showing up every day. Little by little, Wonky started recognizing me. I'd call his name and he'd look back. I'd walk closer and he'd come a little closer too. And that's when I discovered something that always made me smile. Wonky had all these funny little sounds that almost felt like he was trying to have a conversation with me. As he got stronger, his real personality started coming out. Wonky is incredibly stubborn, and he always seems to have an opinion about everything. If I tell him off, he argues right back. If I try to get him to move, he'll look at me like, and why exactly should I listen to you?
Dude, look at you. Look at you.
Then one day, something happened that I'll never forget. I hadn't seen Wonky yet when suddenly I heard the sound of wings. I turned around and saw him flying straight toward me. The weak little goose I had first met was now strong enough to fly across the park just to find me.
Hello.
From that point on, Wonky became more and more confident. He started chasing other geese, running all over the park, and causing trouble wherever he went. But after every little adventure, he'd come running back and stand right beside me, almost as if he were saying, "Okay, I'm done. I'm back now." Sometimes I look at Wonky and find it hard to believe that this is the same bird who once needed someone to make sure he could eat safely. Now he's afraid of almost nothing. He runs, he flies, and he'll even chase geese much bigger than himself. Wonky also completely changed the way I see wild geese. I never imagined I'd become so attached to one. But Wonky taught me that behind an animal many people might simply see as loud, messy, or annoying, there can be a very special personality waiting to be noticed. What I love most about Wonky is that he never truly became my pet. He's still a wild bird. He has his own life, his own places to go, and other geese to spend time with. I never want to take that freedom away from him. That's why Wonky sometimes disappears. There have been times when I haven't seen him for weeks, and sometimes even months, and every time it happens, I wonder if I'll ever see him again. I can't call him home. I can't make him stay. All I can do is keep coming to the park and hope that one day I'll hear that familiar voice again. And somehow knowing that makes every visit with him feel even more special. Then one day, I'll walk into the park and suddenly see him in the distance. Wonky recognizes me before I even call his name. He comes running toward me, making those familiar little sounds, and stands right beside me, as if there was never any time between us at all. I once thought I was simply helping a weak, sick goose survive. But in the end, Wonky changed me just as much as I changed him. He taught me that friendship with a wild animal isn't about keeping them close. It's about appreciating every moment they freely choose to come back. And maybe that's why, every time Wonky runs toward me, I feel just a little luckier. Ow! If Wonky's story touched you, don't forget to share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Every animal in the wild has its own personality, its own way of showing trust, and its own way of caring. But when you become important to them, something beautiful happens. They may start treating you like family. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about animals. They don't need words to show you that you matter.